Welcome everyone into another great week of R&bCrypto. I am joined by my wonderful co-host Breevie and our great guest this week, Beach Dragon from Levana. Before we hop into everything, the markets are looking a little bit spooky. Today is Sunday, June 19th, where I am. So Bitcoin, I think, went under 20K last night, and everyone's panicking. It's a fun time out there. So Breevie, what's going on?
So let me give you my mindset on this current market downturn that we're in right now. I am 100% down for it to continue to go down because I don't look at these market downturns as, oh my God, all of crypto is going to be erased. That's just not how my mind works. I am literally just, I am so bullish on crypto for the future overall, Bitcoin, Ethereum, et cetera, et cetera. I only see this as an opportunity as of right now. Bitcoin, I think its high was somewhere around 70K. It's currently at like 18K, so it's a smooth 4X kind of baked in right now.
If we ever get there, if we're not headed towards global collapse.
I mean, historically speaking, these bear markets, they happen, and typically they're around 2 to 3 years or something like that, or at least until the next Bitcoin halving event. I don't know when that is. I am not like a Bitcoin maxi. I'm not even huge on Bitcoin at all. I just got completely wrecked in Terra Luna, so now I'm scared and I'm only investing in Bitcoin and Ethereum right now.
Rekt baby.
Yes, Rekt baby. Oh, I gotta change my name. Anyway, what's going on in your world, Rick?
I'm kind of with you. I really haven't been paying much attention to really anything in crypto, to be honest with you. I've been mostly paying attention to what's going on in broader markets and seeing how central bankers around the globe are reacting and what their outlooks might be, and then also are we headed into a massive recession? Kind of the same update I've had for the last couple of weeks. Nothing too crazy. Working with you, Breevie. We're speaking to some great projects though, and I want to give Beach Dragon a chance to introduce herself and speak a little bit about Levana.
Hey guys, thank you so much for having me. So I am Beach Dragon. My other name is Mimi, and I am the head of product at Levana Protocol. A lot of people ask me where did the Beach Dragon thing come from? So Levana's icon, our logo, our character, our really the focus of Levana is a dragon, and because a dragon really represents crypto to us, you can take it, it can bring you to the highest heights, and it can also burn your village to the ground. And so, you have to be careful with leverage, and you need to be thoughtful with it, and you can't just, use it to keep soaring out of the stratosphere and forget that you need oxygen. And so the Beach Dragon part of that was really as a female in crypto, when I first got interested in crypto in 2011, and yes, I was doxxed in 2012. They would be like, "Hey, bitch," and so that was it was even more misogynistic than it is now. I just made a joke out of it and just used the name Beach Dragon. So that's sort of how that came about. So now when everyone's like, "Hey, Beach," I just giggle. I think it's really funny. They don't realize where that's from.
That's a pretty good origin there. I like that.
Yeah. So I'm very proud of being a female in crypto, and especially on a product team that has built a great product and has a lot of stickiness and community awareness and just community love. Really, I don't even have another word for it. As Terra collapsed, and then as the crypto markets have kind of melted down, our community has really stuck together and rallied behind the project and behind what our vision is. And so Levana stands for Leverage Any Asset. And we are, a DeFi primitive protocol. The first product that we were about to launch, it was actually live on testnet, and we were weeks away, not even many weeks. We were just 2 weeks away from launching on mainnet. And Terra is a perpetual swap with a pretty unique and interesting model. And we had actually addressed many of the issues that have affected all the leverage products that people were using, i.e. what happens if, the protocol takes on bad debt? How do you prevent bad debt from being created, and then how do you prevent all these liquidations? So those were all issues that, you know, we had talked about at length and planned for and had mathematical solutions for. So on the one hand, it was like so upsetting to us that you know, that we didn't get to launch, and on the other hand, we were just weeks away. Oh, I see Jonathan's joined us.
He's hopped in. He's on the streets.
Hey,
yes,
everybody! Yeah,
he's walking the streets.
Yeah, I just got out of a meeting with some of our design team, and now I'm on my way to another meeting. But thank you for having me.
Hey, it's never a problem having you on, Jonathan. It's super good to see you again, my friend.
Yeah, it's good to see you smiling.
We try to laugh.
No economic downturn can get rid of this smile.
It's amazing. It's amazing. I apologize if there's
you know,
noise in the background.
Right. What you were saying is that, you know, and I think we can all agree, right? We've all been through a number of downs with Bitcoin, but it doesn't go to zero. You know, like it doesn't ever go to zero, and it won't go to zero. Like Bitcoin is a store of wealth. Like it is absolutely a store of wealth. And so, well, I can't say absolutely. I don't want to give anyone financial advice, but I'm a firm believer that Bitcoin has, is a store of value and that it won't go to zero. And so, you know, whether you bought at 20 or at 18, or you're, holding out to see if it goes lower, I think that 2 or 3 years, like you said, it will come back. And so we just have to keep building in the meantime. Like that's our job, right? As builders. And we were talking about this a little bit earlier. Like we have to build great products that have good market fit, that have utility, that have purpose, and those projects will come back. And that the value will be restored. I think getting rid of some of the fluff or the fat or the excess that we all experienced over the last 6 months is important. I think it's healthy. It happens in every market, and then the real value is restored.
Yeah. No, it's great to see you guys still marching on and continuing despite everything happening the last few weeks. And honestly, I want to ask both of you some updates about what you have been doing post Terra and what are your big plans. Because me personally, I just haven't really been following a lot of like the old Terra projects. I've been trying to keep caught up to all the news, but just so much happening in the broader scheme of things that it's been a little difficult, just overwhelming. I've also been kind of like inactive on Twitter too because I just can't take some of the bearishness. So I guess if you can help provide some of our listeners an update as to like what are the big advancements going on right now at Levana, what should people know about what's happening and where your current plans are shifting?
Absolutely.
Sure.
So, I was just going to ask if you could go on mute just because your mic is picking up all the background noise. Okay, so we have actually been we've been building. I mean, we've literally been building since the day after the DPEG, essentially, because we recognized that we were, probably going to need to find a new home. Terra was super unstable. Every time that we thought we had a solution, we'd have to find another solution as, services went offline and secondary markets went offline for the NFTs, and then testnet went down, et cetera. And so we have been building in multiple directions and with multiple thought processes behind us. So we haven't officially announced a home yet for our, let's call it like season 1 of the NFTs, or like the first year of the NFTs, but we will very soon. And in the meantime, we knew that we wanted to have a safe landing or a soft landing as much as possible for our community. And so we created something called Dragon Wallets. So while Terra Classic was really unstable and the network kept going down and the nodes were going down and we couldn't get accurate snapshots, etc., we knew we wanted to make like some kind of portal so that way we could warp everyone with us and warp the NFT somewhere. And so we created what's called Dragon Wallets. And if you go to dragonwallet.levana.finance, you can still make a Dragon Wallet. You can take your Levana assets. You can essentially hook them up. And so then when we warp to our new home, you'll be able to port them over. And we did have some rules around that, like you had to have nested your eggs and cracked your meteors. And, we spent weeks telling everyone, nest your eggs, crack your meteors, etc. But you can still make a Dragon Wallet today for all assets like your talisman and your dust and your nested eggs, et cetera. They can all work with us. And then in addition to that, we wanted to bring some joy and some happiness back into the community. And so we created an entirely new collection of NFTs called Rekt Dragons. And originally they were, for people that got wrecked on Terra. And now it's for people that got wrecked anywhere, essentially. So it's 10,000 really unique and super fun NFTs. And we're excited to bring them to the world. We're going to be launching them on ETH. We're going to be minting on ETH. And I think they're hysterically funny. There are 23 different professions. There are tons of different facial expressions and accessories. And the really cool part is that the same way that we innovated on Terra, we have innovated with the Rekt Dragons, and you're going to be able to customize them with a custom name. You are going to be able to customize other features of them, and you're going to be able to select the one that you want. So the way to get onto the now it's a waiting list, but the way to get a Rekt Dragon originally, we had like a 2-week open window period where 10,000 people signed up for the 10,000 Rekt Dragons, and now we have a wait list of almost another 10,000 people. So we have 20,000 people signed up for these Rekt Dragons. They're they're fun and they're cute, and they're really just a way for the community to come together and be able to claim that they got wrecked, which I think most of us are in that situation. So maybe we should have made 1 million of them. And they have some other fun, they have some other really fun surprises in store for the people that will be holding them. So we're going to launch those on ETH. And then in addition to that, the finance team, the DeFi team, has been working on a V2 of our perpetual swap. So we had launched on Terra Classic, and we were on testnet, and we were about to launch our token generation event and also the perpetual swap. So we've been working on a V2 of that with a slightly different model to, again, account for major, Black Swan and other events. And that work continues, and we are very close to announcing our new home. So I think some really exciting things, happening in the background. And the most important part of that story is, try to warp as many of our community with us as possible to our new home, grow the community, and expand the people that want to come with us with Rekt Dragons. And then at the same time, relaunch the financial products with new hope and possibilities in a new place. So that's basically what we've been doing. It's been 6 weeks. I think it's a lot. Obviously, we took a few hours to mourn and to be angry and to try to get over things, but we just we basically started building the next day.
Oh wow, y'all got right to it. You gotta love the Levana team and just get straight to it. Like, really taking that whole task on of being like, we're not worried about the price of Bitcoin, we're not worried about this economic downturn, and like you said, you're just building. I think the just keep swimming, just keep building kind of statement is the best way to kind of go with it. But I do have a question. What kind of, I know you said that there's different jobs for the Rekt Dragons. Which kind of positions do you have?
Which kind of positions are available?
Yeah.
Well, you can work at a fast food place. You could be a cosmetician. You could be a Twitch streamer. You could be a car washer. You could be a dog walker. You can be a crossing guard. You can be a police officer. You can be a flight attendant, a gardener. We got some good Rekt jobs. So, if you didn't quit your day job and now you need a new day job, I think we've got you covered.
You can help me choose now.
Exactly.
That's funny.
We have, the artist, like that you saw. I think the one that you showed previously was the artist, and so that is like our own art team, like made themselves, as like a representative. So you can see them; they're drawing dragons. That was pretty funny. Let's think. Who else? We have a bunch of other. Oh, we have a pizza chef.
They made one of my job. They made the communications at Levana, which also got wrecked. So it's it was nice. One of the days, I got sent a little dragon of myself, which was bittersweet.
Yeah. Jonathan gets a 1 of 1, so he's really lucky. For the rest of us, we have to choose slightly less rare.
Now, you said we do get to choose which specific position, right?
So you're going to get There's two options. One is to not customize.
Okay.
And you'll then be able to choose one of three that will pop up for you based on how wrecked you were. So we're checking your Terra wallet, your original Terra wallet. We're seeing how wrecked you were. And then based on that categorization is like which level of rarity of the Rekt Dragons you're going to get. So the more wrecked, obviously, the more rare, because we really wanted to try to give you something that was our way of saying, dude, we're so sorry. Like, we're so sorry. It sucks.
So sorry.
We're so sorry. It really sucks.
Sorry if I missed this detail earlier. So to get these Rekt Dragons, you need to create a dragon wallet. Is there a minting fee for mint price on this? Okay, and then so you're taking the wallet? Are you taking like Terra wallet addresses, and then using that to just determine the rarity? Is that the idea?
Yeah, so you create a Dragon wallet. You can do that at dragonwallet.levana.finance. And then for the first 10,000 people, we checked Reckness and then figured and sorted them into categories, because the Dragon wallet is really, imagine like a luggage tag that we put onto your Terra station or Terra wallet. And that way it allows us to sort of port you and your stuff wherever we go into our new home. And so your Levana stuff, obviously I can't take your other stuff.
Right.
We'll port any of your Levana NFT assets. And so we could look at your history also on Terra doing that and see, were they holding AUST, Luna, etc. And then we know how wrecked you were. So, if you connect like a Terra wallet that just had like one Levana talisman, that's not going to really help you. You weren't that wrecked. But if you were, people that played multiple wallets and had like all these games going on with their wallets, etc. So it caught up to them, right? Because then they weren't really wrecked on those wallets. But if you got wrecked on the wallet that you created your Dragon wallet with, then you'll get the most rare of the Rekt Dragons. And so what we've done is, I can't remember now if it's 3 or 4, but we basically show you 3 or 4 that you can choose from. Like you get 3 or 4 different personalities that you can choose from. And then you'll be able to name it. And then if you choose a name like Adolf Hitler, let's say, so obviously we'll kick that, and then we'll give you we'll give you a list of 4 alternates. So obviously we can't go back and forth with you, right? So it'll be free form. You'll be able to put in a name, but if both the machine learning or the human filters decide that is not appropriate, you'll have chosen from a list of names that are alternate names, and then we'll use that one. So my hope is that people will not try to,
start
like
trolling.
Racist or exactly trolling. But if they do, we're prepared. It'll be human verified and not just machine learning. And then there's all sorts of other fun aspects that you can customize. So the mint is a little bit more expensive if you want to customize. It's an extra $20. That's because honestly there was a hell of a lot of dev work that went into figuring out how to do this on ETH. It's not so straightforward. And that's it. It'll be your really cute customized Rekt Dragon with your name and some other, cute customized metadata that you've chosen.
What are all the aspects that you can customize? Is it the name and the position? Just the name and the position, or are there more things?
So again, you're going to choose the position. You're going to get 3 options. You're going to be able to choose from the 3, like which one you want. And then, so the position is built into the character. So you probably saw there was like, an artist or a gardener or what have you. So that you're not going to be able to choose. You're going to be able to choose their useless degree that they might have received in the past.
No comment.
There's some really awesome, like, if it's like underwater basket weaving or like ancient Greek, or there's all sorts of like, I think we have 250 degrees to choose from. And then it's hobby and favorite food and all sorts of like fun things that you can choose to select. So there's going to be some surprises.
My policy.
Real quick, I gotta just big y'all up really quick, just because I just gotta really say something. I just absolutely love the Levana team and how hardworking they are. They're not paying me to say that. We're not sponsored by them. I just see the work and I just love it, because I don't know, maybe like 2 weeks after a huge crash in Luna, you have these already built Dragon wallets. You got a full other collection on top of the Levana universe that you have here, because if people aren't privy to Levana, they have so much going on beyond just, they have the Levana swap going on, the 2x, is it 2x token or 3x?
2x, 2x
2x,
token.
2x. They got the Levana 2x token. They have the Rekt Dragons. They have the original OG dragons, where you got eggs from a meteor shower, and then you can nest. Actually, can we kind of go into that just for people who might not be too privy on what everything Levana has, like the original OG dragons?
Absolutely. So Levana is really an adventure story, and it started 9 months ago, really, when we announced that first of all, it follows with a lore and a story and a backstory that is so rich and has I think so much to love and be interested about it, and so much mystery and adventure. So if you go to the Levana blog on Medium, you'll find the beginning of the lore, where we start to tell the story of how is it that there are people on Mars, right? That there's a human civilization on Mars. It starts 500 years in the future, gives some hints about how humanity got to Mars, why they are no longer on Earth, and why this whole civilization is now existing on Mars, and the magic of like what's happened there. They discover a dragon egg, etc. So and then all the things that happen with the society on Mars as that unfolds. And so we created a meteor shower event, which was how we did our NFT mint. We decided that the whitelist, shilling, good morning brigade was not for us, and was never something that we really believed in, because we felt like that was a pump and dump scheme. And we wanted NFTs that would have utility and have fun and have adventure and have gaming. Like I said before, we didn't really just want to make a bunch of PFPs of zoo animals. And so we made evolutionary NFTs that would evolve and change over time, that people could play with. And so we made this meteor shower. It lasted for 44 hours. We had 6,500 unique wallets that participated, and folks minted 41,000 different meteors of 4 different rarities. And within those meteors, there were 8,888 dragon eggs, and the rest contained magical meteor dust of the various tiers, depending on the meteors that you bought. And so that was like the genesis of the story. And then, through that period, we then had meteor cracking, and the meteors then revealed what was in them, right? Did you get a dragon egg, or did you get dust? And then we had the nesting stations, where you could come and apply dust to your dragon eggs and then nest them. And the output of that was a talisman and your nested egg, and potentially dust that might have been like change dust if you applied too much dust. And so the talismans were that belonged to one of the 4 factions, and the 4 factions represented the 4 classes or organizations of people on Mars. And so then we created what was called the faction wars, where people fought for their factions in a number of, we had 8 different actual blockchain games that we played. And then there were a number of different quests and activities as part of the Levana community that people were able to partake in. So all told, we had, I think, 23 different activities in the faction wars before we declared a ceasefire at the DPEG and decided that, the faction wars were over. But the faction wars were really leading up to the distribution of spirit level and to rewards that were going to be part of our token generation event. And so, we really carried the story and the stickiness and the community with us the whole way through. And I think that's really what set Levana apart and our NFTs apart, and the reason why we had such incredible secondary market sales and people really just attach themselves to Levana and to the story, is because there's a lot of teams and groups that like have a backstory or have lore or have they've written something and tried to tell a story in a few hundred words. And here you had there's 26 videos online, there's 15 minutes of animated content, there's 8 mini games that people were playing, there's hundreds of hours of blockchain gaming, live gaming that happened. There was so much behind and the team that delivered it just did an incredible job of every 4 to 5 weeks delivering another experience.
There's one thing.
No, you got it.
I'm just saying, the whole Levana, the light paper, for example, it just looks gorgeous. It's just well done. I really appreciate the detail and the level of intrigue one has when they look through Levana products, and anything that Levana publishes always has that common theme of kind of inspiring that central core story that you all want to present.
Yeah, thank you. That I don't know if I don't know if Jonathan's still on the line or if we lost him, but
Yeah,
you know,
I mean that was definitely the goal. The goal is to make something that feels deep. Our goal is to build a Harry Potter, a Star Wars, a Lord of the Rings,
Yeah.
and we think that that's what crypto needs in order to break through, that like wall of adoption, and we think that the world that we've created can help spread the narrative of crypto to the next generation. And with this bear market that we're in, we think that this is the perfect tool to help not just the people that are currently around the table, but everybody that that is interested or curious. We want to make something that just looks and feels different.
Mm, mm. And
and
it really
also,
does. And it really does. I'm sorry, Beach Dragon, you got it.
oh, no, it's fine. I was just gonna say, in addition to the different, right? You when you look at the educational aspect of the content that we create, right? So during the DPEG, people were somewhat stuck in Terra, right? They got stuck holding assets. They didn't know what to do with them. People were buying Levana NFTs as like it was like the most valuable commodity you could get in Terra. Because people said, well, I may not have like Luna or my UST might be worthless, but at least I'll have a Levana Dragon Egg. Like at
Mm-hmm.
least I know that this team is going to continue to deliver. And also people were able to talk directly to the contracts. They were able to query. They were able to do things that they hadn't been able to do even a few months before because all that education came from the games that we introduced, right? Every game had an educational component and we wanted to teach, oh, here's how you create a bot. Oh, look, this game you're going to do better at if you can query the contract. Oh, look, this game you're going to do better at if you understand where to look for things. And so at every stage we really tried to bring the community along with us without them necessarily knowing that we were teaching them about the blockchain, right? But rather, oh, look, you're playing a strategy game with your friends.
Mm.
And that's how you get 100 million people around the table, right? It's not by saying, DeFi is for everybody. Nobody's
Mm.
listening to that message. But the
No.
message of, the message of like, come, play a war game with your friends,
Yeah.
that's okay. That's cool.
Now I know there's a ceasefire going on with the faction wars currently, but when you guys move to your new home, do you plan on bringing the faction wars back? What's the plan with that?
Absolutely. Because what's a new home without a war? No, yeah. Yeah. No. I definitely think I mean, but again, there'll be lots of other, every time there's a massive change or a shift or a warp or what have you, right? There's a new environment and new things are required. So, what we delivered until now is what we delivered until now, and we're going to deliver more going forward. That's always, like, how do we up the ante? It's sort of, we look around the table and we're like, all right, well, we did, 10 last time. Well, now we have to do 15. Like, even if the expectation was only 5, because we expect from ourselves to do more, so the community voted and decided that ETH was the place we were going to mint these Rekt Dragons. We've never minted on ETH. And so we could have just said, okay, we'll mint on ETH like everybody else on OpenSea and just call it a day. And then I said, wait, hold on. We can have customizations. And and the devs were like, what is wrong with you? Like, why are you making it so difficult? And I said, because let's do something radical. Let's do something really fun. Let's do something that nobody's done before
Yeah.
and make this a really unique experience. Like, that's what Levana is all about. Levana is about the adventure. Levana is about trying new things and sometimes, sometimes failing, but most of the time I think succeeding. And so we're going to push the envelope every time.
I love that you're pushing that envelope too, especially when deciding to move on to Ethereum, because Ethereum is like so oversaturated with just, like you said, with just zoo animal projects all over the place. So I love that Levana is thinking on that front.
There's
Yeah, I think it's going to be really fun, guys. It's going to be really fun. I think that Rekt Dragons are going to, take over next week. It's going to be fun.
I'm looking forward to seeing it happen. There's two pieces I want to speak about. One is just the fact I appreciate that a lot of chains like right after Terra's collapse, or not a lot of chains, a lot of projects panicked, and they were just looking at, or they immediately changed their like home blockchain, or they were looking at ways to migrate, or they're saying we're going to stay, we're going to go. There really was no cordial or calm plan in the wake of the aftermath from Terra's collapse. And what I appreciate is that you've created that sort of middle ground area where people can take their assets and know that there's going to be a temporary home, an interim place that will eventually lead to wherever the project goes next. And I want to poke a little bit on this. I know you probably can't share too much detail, but I do know that Mars Protocol on Terra was a very integral part to creating levered up tokens. Are there any protocols on other chains that you are just currently looking at, interested in, if you were able to share this information?
That's such a great question. I'm going to have to say that we are in really advanced negotiations with a number of blockchains. We have definitely taken our time. I know we're probably like the last major protocol in Terra that hasn't made our big announcement yet. And the reason for that was we published within a day or two of the total collapse. We had published a very comprehensive list of all the blockchains to look at and comparison and contrasting each of their value drivers and their usability for us and the technical challenges they presented, et cetera. And we exposed that to the community. Like we were like, listen, we're going to do a deep dive. Terra was our natural home. It was the best fit for us. Nothing else came close, which is why we built on Terra to begin with. Before we're going to make a move, we're going to really consider this very carefully because we only want to move once, right? Like this is not like, oh, let's move every 6 months. And so, and also though, there were projects that were just PFPs. And so, they were just NFT projects. So they needed and wanted to go with other PFP projects, which, give them all the credit in the world. I think it's great if they're going as a collective. And then there were, DeFi projects that wanted to move, for whatever reasons, whether it be their investors led their decisions or what have you. And for us, we were in a little bit of a different situation in that we have this incredible gamified community, right? We have the NFT projects, and we also have 3 outstanding DeFi projects that were audited and ready to launch. And so, for us, it was like, do you stick together? Do you divide and conquer? Do you spray and pray? Like what is the strategy? And we also just wanted to take a minute and think things through really carefully and make a strategic plan rather than just acting from a state of like panic or catastrophe. Like you don't want to be making the final decision of the rest of your life as you're loading onto the lifeboat on the Titanic. Like that's not how you make good decisions. And so I feel very confident about the direction that we're heading in. I can't tell you that we are explicitly dependent on anything else at this stage. And first of all, I'm just so grateful to the community. They've really just been outstanding and given us a lot of grace and patience, which in crypto is very hard to come by, right? Yeah. And really trusted us to make the right decision, for them and for their assets and in the long haul. And second, we've just, from permissionless, where it felt like we were the kind of like the belle of the ball, everybody was courting us. We've had really just wonderful experiences speaking to different blockchains and getting, having different conversations. And I think at Permissionless, we had 30 meetings.
Wow.
It was pretty nuts. Yeah, it was. And they, sometimes they overlapped and that was really uncomfortable because we had reserved a meeting space outside of the conference. And so when people like came and like the previous meeting wasn't finished and they kind of eyed each other and they were like, hey, what are you doing here?
To stand up.
Now it's our time to tell them why they should come to, wherever. I'm very confident in us, in the direction that we're moving forward. Maybe Jonathan has a different perspective, but I'm feeling really, confident and I think, we touched on before, like if this is the bottom or it's not yet the bottom and it's close to the bottom, I'm very confident of where we're going to be 6 months from now, a year from now, 2 years from now. And I think that's key. You can't always be going up, right? There's no way to just like keep flying without like, a tank refill or getting more gas or, changing out your fuel cells or whatever. I think this was a natural correction, maybe not as severe as this, but like, I think it was a very natural correction, but we're just going to keep building.
I mean, and this current correction that we're in right now, it kind of just only makes sense. Everything's just been going up consistently for however long. I don't, Rick, you're more privy to like the stock market and stuff. How long has the stock market been going up for? Just
I mean, we've been in a secular, not secular. We've been in like a bull cycle for arguably like 30 years, but I mean since
yeah,
2008 recovery. Since
Yeah, it's
then, I
been
mean,
12,
since
it's yeah,
money prints
right.
are
It's
go
been
burr.
easily 12 years.
Right.
yeah. See, like that's insane to just go up consistently for like 12 years. And so like it only makes sense for there to be some sort of correction in the market, just because what these corrections do allow is they allow for other people to start getting in at lower prices, because some people don't want to, if I'm Tesla and I'm like at like $1,500, some people don't want to buy in at $1,500. But if it crashes 50%, now people are seeing the potential for 50% gain just back to the top. Not saying that these were actually the numbers, just talking out of my
Mm.
butt. um, but I like where we're at currently in the market. I think that this correction only makes sense. I think that it's only providing opportunity for people who are trying to get into investing. Like for myself, I made my first investment since losing everything. So I'm feeling pretty happy. Obviously, that has tanked currently. It's just tanked more, but super bullish on like the overall market in general, and even more bullish on Levana itself, just because I mean you folks just continue to build this universe. I would like to actually do you guys plan on kind of writing this dump this correction into the universe story at all?
Absolutely. I mean, like I said to you before, dragons, dragons can take you to the highest heights, and they can also burn every village down. And it's very much a part of the story. It would be, and really, the story of Levana is the story of crypto, and the story of the factions is the story of, society battling with, governments and control, right? And for freedom and for decentralized finance. And so when you think about it, right, you recognize that it's really an analogous story to the bigger story that we're seeing in the world. And absolutely, you'll see this you'll see this very much in the Levana story. And it's already been part of like the past, and now you'll see it in the future as well. And these are, I think they're, the cycles of human history also.
Mm. That's a good point. I want to ask, kind of going off of that, contagion's a big thing right now in crypto, and that is, when one thing falls, domino effect, other things can cascade as well, especially in an asset class where there's a ton of leverage, and usually people are over leveraged. And now we're seeing, some of the largest players, such as Three Arrow Capital, going insolvent. You're seeing Celsius going insolvent, and this can send ripple effects throughout the entire space, and in my opinion is why things have been going down so rapidly, is because people are freaking out. So just going off of that, are you worried about any contagion risks towards Levana, any of its assets? I mean, is there any sort of I think concern sums it up well, and are you very confident going into this bear cycle?
So, it would be disingenuous for me to say that we hadn't lost a significant amount of our treasury, which was the royalties and the monies gained in the meteor shower, which were lost. That was all in UST and Luna, so that is sad, and devastating to the teams that had worked on those projects. However, having said that, I think that if you double down and you continue to build, and you can bring your community with us, then or with you, then you have the best shot of being here once the bear market is over. And thankfully, there's a lot of fans and a lot of committed community members, and there's a lot of even investors and other market players that are like, Levana has to live, like you guys, you guys are like the good, you're like the good guys, like you guys are going to make it. And I absolutely believe that. I wouldn't I wouldn't still be, yeah, I am very confident. I mean, and maybe at the same time, like I was confident before. So, but I do think that Levana is something different. I think it's something special. And I think we've built a different kind of community. And like you said, when everything else was collapsing and the discords went quiet and people weren't doing Twitter spaces and nobody was giving answers and it all just felt like one huge rug pull and that contagion, I feel like we definitely stood out and just, we had, if I'm not mistaken, we had like either a Discord or a Twitter AMA almost every day, and just let people know what was happening. We were very honest and disclosed immediately how much we had lost, what the story was going to look like going forward. We had to back off, unfortunately, from the big G, with a capital G game that we had committed to. That money is gone. But we are building and we are making new plans and we are strategizing to how to get back to where we were. And we're going to continue to build. So I feel very confident that, there were bigger plans at play, or there were, there was a much bigger picture that we had. Okay, so we had to scale some of that back, but I'm just as committed to the baby dragons today as I was 6 months ago, and I still, very much believe in the Levana mission, and I still want to get 100 million people around the table, and I still think that that DeFi, has a strong future and is necessary for the world. Like I think that we've reached the stage of civilization where DeFi makes sense, and that and hopefully we can have a more fair distribution of wealth. And I think that the way to achieve that is via DeFi. So yeah, I'm very confident.
That was a tough question.
Not financial advice and
that was a tough one. So I appreciate your response.
And me personally, I love that mindset, that we're not going to quit mindset. And even beyond that, the communicating with your community. I think that shows how dedicated you folks are, because some projects, they just kind of disappeared, right? And like Rick was saying, some projects kind of hastily immediately move to other chains, and then after their move, haven't heard anything from them. But I love that Levana is still just continuing to build, because and when you think of it as a community member, it would only make sense for us to continue to follow, because is that called LARPing, where it's like the real-time fantasy kind of thing?
Live action, yeah, LARPing is actual
role playing.
Yeah, live action role playing. Yeah, because I mean that's kind of like what I could kind of compare Levana to, right? Is like this, because you guys have created essentially to LARPing. I can compare it to like Dungeons and Dragons or something like that, where this entire world gets created full of all of these different characters and storylines, and you are playing in this world. So it really only makes sense as a community member for the community to continue following you onto the next stage, onto the next evolution of the story that you're, that's constantly being created as life goes on.
Listen, I hope so. I mean, we're honored by everybody that wants to come with us. I say this with a little bit of remorse. Like we made a decision when the blockchain was super unstable. Like Terra Classic really started to go wonky, and every day they were introducing Terra upgrades that were breaking things. Like transactions weren't working, and swaps weren't working, and then mobile stopped working, and then it did start working, but then you couldn't use desktop. And like literally every 6 hours, we were having hundreds of customers. We closed like 2,000 cases, tickets, in a matter of 48 hours from our users, just trying to get things to work. And people were really in a state of such like despair that we made a decision that we were going to cut on June 8th, and that was going to be the last snapshot. And I think what happened, and I feel terrible for this, is that people had just walked away from crypto Twitter and just like, the DPEG happened and they were like, I'm out. I'll come back in a month or two. But we had to make a decision. Like we needed a final snapshot, right? Otherwise we would have no accurate data. And we felt like, what if Terra Classic goes dark and we have nothing? And so we made a deal, we made a decision that our final date would be June 8th. And then, people have been coming back saying, oh my God, like but I've been gone for a month, or like I left Twitter, or I did, I dropped all the Discords. I couldn't handle it. And so I needed to back away. Please tell me that I haven't lost my Levana assets. And so, well, I feel terribly. Now I'm really stuck because we made the snapshot. We had this final date. We announced it for weeks in advance. We tweeted, we telegrammed, we Discorded, we sent private messages, we sent emails. Like we did everything we possibly could. And now I still have people on the other side of the fence going, let me come, like, let me warp. Don't leave me behind. And I'm really stuck because, now it's like trying to track what happened on secondary markets after the snapshot. Oh my gosh, like that kind of data is so expensive to try to gather and distill. And so I feel terribly for that. I really do. But we felt like we had to make a decision, and we had to make a cut because we were really nervous that Terra Classic was going to go dark. And it had every indication that it was going to. And if we went on the basis of the DPEG, it looked like it was absolutely going to 0, 0, 0, 0. Faster than the speed of light. So
until the meme coiners survived.
Yeah,
until the meme coiners.
We made a call. I feel terribly if it wasn't the right one. I don't know what else to say. At the time, it definitely felt like it was the right call.
I mean, at the end of the day, you guys did the most that you could possibly do in order to communicate.
Exactly.
Exactly. So, like, if people didn't receive those communications and they weren't following, they have to take some sort of they have to have some sort of understanding that they weren't paying attention, and then this thing happens. I barely just caught it. I barely caught it. Just because
really?
Because I also, after I got completely wrecked, I lost everything. I just kind of like, I wasn't like in the best place as far as crypto was concerned. I just, wasn't very, very happy with it. And I didn't really know like what I was going to do. I didn't even know I was going to still be potting. Actually, shout out to Rick on that, because Rick kind of just kept my mind on potting. He would constantly hit me up. And
when post-mortem episode was my question.
Yes.
Like 10 times. When are we doing an AMA? When are we doing a Twitter space?
Yes, yeah. When are we gonna do Twitter spaces?
Yeah, dude, I like doing my Saturday tea and speaking to Twitter degens.
Yes, and dude, and I have to thank you, man, because you kind of made me be like, I can't leave this podcasting thing. You kind of reminded me how much I love doing this.
Thanks, Breevie.
Nah, no problem, man. Thank you, dude. Like, like this doesn't exist without you.
I appreciate it, man.
But to Beast Dragon's point, it's at the end of the day, you guys did everything that you possibly could to communicate, and you should not feel bad about making a decision and then communicating that decision for as long as you possibly could, and then going forward with that decision. You have to do what's best for the entire Levana project. The individuals, unfortunately, some individuals got left behind, but you got to do what's best for the project.
Right. So, the guilty part is like, now I feel like, the survivors on the Titanic that are floating away in those lifeboats thinking about all the people they left behind. Right. So, yeah.
I got a great Drake line for that. Everybody who survived got survivor's guilt. Yeah, we quote Drake on this podcast.
American philosopher Drake.
American philosopher Drake. That's just awesome.
I do have to ask you, Beast Dragon. So I know Rekt Dragons are going to be coming to Ethereum. What were kind of the reasons that you decided, let's do Ethereum as opposed to like a Polygon, ADA?
You gotta bring up Cardano.
You gotta bring up Cardano.
Breevie is a thing. He really hates Cardano. He always. It's not an episode unless he trashes Cardano at least once.
Okay, so I'm not gonna speak to Cardano. I'm not trashing Cardano. I'm not answering that. I will just say that Ethereum for us, represented the most warpable, the most omni-chain, the most possibilities going forward. And I think that ETH represents sort of the bastion of the zoo PFPs. And there's there's always that question like, okay, well, you're really big, or you're the biggest fish in a small pond, but can you even be like a minnow in a big pond? So there's that aspect of like wanting to challenge ourselves and see, you know, does the, you know, is there still product market fit in a bigger market? Also, we wanted to hear the voice of the community, so we asked, and they were very resolute in let's go to ETH. It has, you know, all the benefits that other chains don't have, and then it did actually offer us the easiest on ramp to, if you do want to move those to Polygon later or to Sol or something else, it's actually the easiest to go from ETH straight. If you start on Polygon, then you have issues that they'll never be like a tier 1 ETH mint. And so, but you can start on ETH as a tier 1 essentially, and then you can move to other chains. So we wanted to start from the right place. So that was really the decision for us.
Okay, yeah, that does make a lot of sense, and I do like that y'all are challenging yourselves in that way, with the small minnow in a big pond now, because, you know, as folks know, ETH is like the originator of the NFT space, and also obviously the largest NFT space. So I'm actually really excited to see how you folks thrive on ETH, because the only thing I can see you guys doing is thriving.
Listen, I hope so. I hope that the originality here and the customization and the totally unique way that we're doing the mint and the, you know, the ability to choose, I hope that that is going to, you know, inspire people to push harder and to deliver more and to figure out like where the community's at and try to deliver it for them. And I'm excited. You know, this is just the beginning for us. Obviously, you know, we designed this within a week or two, and then had to create all the artwork for, you know, 10,000 uniques, and then the technical applications so that we could give all the customization options. So we've literally just been building, you know, through this entire crash, and that's what inspires us. Like the possibilities are what inspires us. And so I hope it will bring some hope back. And also they're just silly and fun, and I think really relatable and cute. And I hope that it brings some joy back to people. Like, even if you don't get one, I hope that you see it and you're like, yeah, man, I got wrecked. Like, that's totally me, you know, like like I'm a Rekt Dragon, you know. I just hope that people can relate and see that there's still a little bit of joy, and there's hope, and there's, you know, some happiness, and that it's okay to giggle, and it's okay to be silly. And that there's, you know, there's hopefully sunshine on the other side. I mean, there was a reason that we chose the colors that we chose. There's a reason that we chose there's, you know, expressions. There's the crying, there's the sadness, there's the, you know, the smirking, there's the happiness, there's yeah, I mean, you know, they're Rekt expressions. Like we really thought very carefully about how can we express, you know, everything that we're feeling with these dragons. So they are absolutely a representation of each person on the team and our experiences. And we are, you know, just as wrecked as everybody else, so, you know, on a personal level, not just on a company level. And so, yeah, like these dragons originally were for us. Like we were just making them to make ourselves feel better. And then people were like, man, those are the coolest dragons. I want that dragon. And that's how it all came about.
Wow. And it's really crazy to see everything that you guys have done in such a short period of time. I mean, you guys got the team working overtime.
I'm not gonna lie. There's a section of my team, and myself included, we worked 22-hour days, like 3 days in a row. I mean, it was insane, just because the dragon wallets and how fast we did it, and how, you know, and just getting everybody like warped and set up. And then we announced the Rekt Dragons, and people just went nuts. And, you know, we had like 5,000 signups over the weekend.
Wow.
And you know, and you have to create a seed phrase, and you have to save it, and you know, you have to make whatever. Like, you know how people are when you're trying to teach them how to do something new, then it's hard. So now, I reached out a lot of people about how to make a wallet and what a seed phrase is and where to store it, etc. So
actually, I have a question, just because I don't know if I am on this thing or not. Do you get a whitelist spot if you have a dragon wallet?
So if you made a dragon wallet for your Levana NFTs, then yes, that is your automatic Rekt Dragon.
Let's go.
Yes.
He's back.
Like, oh.
You're Rekt. Yes. So if you made a Dragon wallet as a Levana NFT holder, then you're on the Rekt list. And if you go and check it now, you should be able to verify, and it will tell you if you were Rekt or not.
Oh, trust me, I was Rekt. I don't need to verify.
Okay, so
Verified Rekt.
Oh, trust me.
Rekt.
Just look at the name.
Just like.
We're coming up on the 1 hour mark. I just want to give everyone a chance to get some final thoughts in here before we wrap things up. So, any closing questions, statements, anything you want to get out there?
Well, we'll let Beast Dragon kick it off.
Oh, thanks. You guys are so kind. I really just want to first of all say thank you for the opportunity, and for inviting us. And really just to say thank you for the support and the the love of our project and our team, and to let the community know that we are absolutely here building every day for you. We will continue to be here every day building for you, and there is hope and there's possibility and there is a bright future ahead. And somehow you just have to stay the course. You got to keep swimming. Just keep swimming, guys.
Absolutely.
And girls and ladies, yeah.
Rick, you got it.
Oh man, yeah. Thank you, Beach Dragon, for joining us today. Really appreciate your time and sharing all the cool stuff that's going on with Levana. It's a project that I wanted to get on Lunatic Station. I had a whole list of projects that was my old podcast before the crash, and you guys are on my list to reach out to, and unfortunately, it never happened. So it's great to get you all on for R&bCrypto. But apart from that, everyone just keep safe out there. Keep your eyes on things. Keep a cool head. I think there will be better times ahead. It might not be tomorrow, but I think there's definitely light in the distance.
Yes. I'm gonna also join this thank you train that we got going on right here. Thank you so much, Beast Dragon. Thank you so much to Jonathan. He popped in for a little bit as well. To the Levana team, just continuing to absolutely dominate the space. I mean, still creating this universe that we're all going to be living in soon. And I'm just very, very happy that you guys are still around and you're still just, going hard for it. And all I can do really is thank you for popping onto the podcast and talking about this project that, it's revolutionary in scope. To all the audience members out there, if you would like to follow Levana, Beast Dragon, where could they follow Levana at?
The best place to follow us is on Medium or on Twitter. Actually, we are Levana_protocol on Twitter. You can join our Discord. You can join our Telegram groups, but the best place is Twitter or else on Medium with our blog.
Perfect. And to all the audience out there, thank you, folks, so much for checking out RnBCrypto. You can follow Rick at Macro Carry. You can follow me at Breevie Got Rekt. And you can follow the pod at R, N as in Nancy, B as in boy, crypto. This has been RnBCrypto. Have a great day.
Thanks, everyone.
I'm so bad with outros.